felt. Feeling better than I ever felt. Why, thank you. Feeling better than I ever felt. Feeling better than I ever felt. Meanwhile, these dead presidents.
In times like these, we have to make some decisions. And I might not normally be here as a preacher and an individual, but when I hear Hillary's voices and positions, I hear and I know that she is working to embrace our deepest moral values, and we should embrace her.
Hillary Clinton knows that this moment is not just about one woman's achievement. It's about what electing a woman president will mean for achieving the dreams and hopes and aspirations of every woman, every daughter, every son, every family all across our land for generations to come.
And on election day, take the time to get out and vote for the healer, vote for the strongest, most qualified candidate, Hillary Clinton.
To everyone watching here and at home, I know with all my heart that my mother will make us proud as our next president. This is the story of my mother, Hillary Clinton.
And so, my friends, it is with humility, determination, and boundless confidence in America's promise that I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy at day 4 of the DNC. I know, it seems like, we've been saying this every day. And we have Matt with us, and you're with Truth to Power. Oh, Truth to Power. And some of you that are following me on social media probably saw Reef the Lost Cause. He was at the event, and he talked about why it's important to participate, and he has an autistic son, and he did a wonderful poem. But one of the reasons we wanted to speak to Matt is, as you know, the election is not just older people, not just, women, which is a huge thing here, but we have a lot of people, this will be their first election. Any time that they voted, this is their first presidential election, and some of you will be turning 18 in time to vote in this election. So talk about why it's important for young people to get involved.
Well, I think, election year is always a time we start talking about young people and their engagement, right? And it's when everybody starts to pay attention to whether they're going to turn out and vote. And a lot of that is because it's important. It is going to be decisive in this election, whether or not young people, not just whether they vote, but who they vote for. And when young people have that type of power, they need to use it. Because this is a time when people are paying attention to us, whether or not candidates are talking about student debt, whether or not candidates are talking about youth unemployment, education, higher education. So those sorts of things can rise to the top if young people are demonstrating, showing their voice and turning out to vote. And we need candidates that know how to talk to young people, that reach them on their mediums. And that was one thing that was so special about President Obama, is that he actually used Funny or Die, goes on YouTube. People feel like they can connect with the president. And so I think people are wondering, especially young people, are we going to see that same type of engagement? And is it going to be authentic from a Hillary Clinton or even from a Donald Trump? And I think young people are watching that right now.
Well, you brought up something really important. One of the I don't want to say knocks, but one of the little checks that people have against young people is, why are you only coming out every 4 years? How do we help young people understand is you want to be consistent in voting, you want to get involved in local elections, because those things affect you too. Like jobs isn't just, on a national level, but I know here in Pennsylvania, especially in Philadelphia, the tech industry, there's been a lot of outreach to get millennials and startups here and everything like that. Why is it important to say, okay, yeah, I came to the party 4 years ago, and then don't hide out, continue to be involved?
Yeah. Well, I think it's got to be a two-way street too. People and candidates have to reach out to young people. You can't just come and want to talk to young people when it's getting close to November. You have to have consistent engagement. You have to find ways to involve them in authentic forms of communication. So I think candidates have to do better. The party has to do better. There was a lot of things that happened in the Democratic Party, I think, have turned out off a lot of young people, feeling like the system is already rigged, or the rules are already set in a way that excludes young people. So we got to look at all that too, because we have to create a system that wants young people to be involved, not just when November comes around, but throughout. With that said, so much attention around the presidential election, but we know that most of the decisions that really impact people on the ground are in local communities or in state legislatures. And if young people had even just the level of engagement that we have around the presidential, we could change many of those things that we think might be changed by Hillary Clinton, but actually really should be changed by your local prosecutor or your local sheriff or your mayor. And so, I think that we need to broaden the conversation, and hopefully we can shift some of that energy that comes about from Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or whatever it is to those local conversations as well.
Hey everybody, it's Katya. We're here, day 4, yay! At the Democratic Convention. I know it seems like we've been here a month, but we're going to keep going, and we are with Stephanie. Tell everybody who you represent and what brought you to the Democratic Convention.
Thank you. Well, I'm Stephanie Shriak. I'm the president of Emily's List, and for those who don't know Emily's List, we are a 3-decade-old organization completely committed to electing pro-choice Democratic women to office up and down the ballot, from the legislature to the House, Senate governorships, and yes, finally, the presidency.
I'm so glad that you said that, because part of this dialogue that has gotten lost is we have had the pleasure of speaking with women from various different backgrounds and various different ages. And one of those things are women that have been in the women's movement since the 50s that thought this day would never come, where a woman would be nominated for president and there's a possibility of her being elected. And again, they're still baffled that we're having the discussion about making choices about our bodies, having to fight for awareness for different health issues, and the list goes on and on. So explain how your organization helps bring awareness other than to support women and pro-choice candidates.
Well, we know, and we've all learned, and all of us across the country learn this, those who are sitting at those legislative tables, those that are making those decisions and voting on the issues that affect our lives, those are the ones, those are the voices that we need to make sure are with us. And so what we think of, as we think about what we do at Emily's List, is we want to make sure that the folks making those decisions understand us. And we just think that women are going to understand what happens with women better than men. Not that we don't need men's perspectives either, we need both. But we're living in a country where Congress is only 19% women. I mean, that's ridiculous. We got to change that, and that's what we do every single day, because we need the voice of the single mom who is running short on money at the end of the week because daycare is too expensive. We need the voice of the African American woman who has to talk to her son about what it is to drive down the street. We need the voice of the young Latina who maybe she is a dreamer and is afraid every day that her parents are going to be